Welcome to SD33916 channel. With daily story updates, remember to subscribe. The story begins. I was in a car accident when I went to buy Evelyn an anniversary gift. I was knocked 2 meters away. She was in line buying Brandon his first Valentine's Day milk tea. When she saw my pale face, she gently covered Brandon's eyes with her hand, not wanting him to see what had happened to me. She coldly said, "Don't think I don't know you're trying to make me feel guilty. Your little tricks are really heartbreaking." I don't know who she was trying to impress with that indifferent look. Then she took Brandon's hand and turned to leave. That night, I listened to Evelyn playing soothing music for Brandon, who was unable to sleep. I calmly dialed the number. Alex's father. I've thought it over and I've decided to go back and take over the Anderson group. Listening to the piano music echoing through the house and thinking about my broken legs, I calmly dialed the number. Alexander, I've decided to go home and take over the family business. I never thought that after 5 years of being in a relationship with me, she could still play the piano. Maybe it wasn't that I couldn't, but that I didn't deserve for Evelyn to play the piano. The moment the phone hung up, Evelyn walked out of the piano room. She was wearing a white nightdress, and the gentleness in her eyes had not disappeared. In the past, she was always very tired when she came home, and she didn't even have the energy to talk to me. How could she be in the mood to play the piano for half the night? "Who did you just talk to?" Evelyn, who was asking me the question, kept her eyes on her phone. She swiped her phone while her mouth curled up slightly, looking very casual. I just told her straight away that I was talking to Alexander's father. She just nodded without asking any further questions. I knew that she didn't really care about my family either. After all, we had been in a relationship for 5 years, and she had never taken the initiative to meet my parents. She never wanted to get to know my family. When Evelyn picked up her glass, she noticed that it wasn't filled with the lemonade she usually liked. At that moment, her eyes finally looked at me for the first time. "Didn't you say you were going to the hospital today? Did you go?" I kept typing and went. "What's wrong with you?" Evelyn asked casually. I shook my head with a bitter smile and said there was nothing wrong. In fact, I wasn't sick. I just went to buy a gift and wanted to surprise her. Unexpectedly, I had an accident on the way and was suddenly hit by a car, causing me to fracture both legs. But what's the point of talking about this now? After all, among the people passing by at the time was her and the person she likes. "I think you're not having a big deal. You're just being a little oversensitive. By the way, remember to bring my lemonade next time." Evelyn walked into the study with a sweet smile on her face while preparing her lemonade and holding her phone. She didn't notice at all that I was pale. Seeing this, I decided to check Evelyn's Facebook feed on my phone. Sure enough, I saw a status that everyone could see. Evelyn, promised to give Brandon the first cup of milk tea and a gift every Valentine's Day from now on. I will never forget. I will definitely do it. As compensation for almost missing this year, I will personally deliver breakfast to cute Brandon every day for the next week. Looking at the comments below, I couldn't help sneering as I read the happy messages they left together. It's obvious that they're an unfaithful couple, but there are still people defending them. I immediately started contacting family lawyers. Since we've decided to separate, all my things should be returned. The next morning, Evelyn got up early and went to a famous breakfast restaurant to buy soup dumplings and steamed dumplings. Just as I was about to open the thermal bag of crab roe soup dumplings, Evelyn suddenly patted my hand. She said, "Don't you like celery dumplings? I bought these for you, you can eat these." I froze for a moment and immediately remembered what I had posted in my circle of friends yesterday. It turned out that the crab roe soup dumplings in the more attractive packaging were for Brandon. I looked at the celery dumplings and coldly said, "Evelyn, we have been in love for 5 years, and you still don't know that I don't eat celery? Don't you know that I feel uncomfortable when I smell this?" Evelyn's face changed a little, and she said coldly, "It's not bad that I can buy you this. You can eat it or not, but it's your own habit." I saw that Evelyn didn't care at all about my thoughts, and I felt a little lost. Then I turned around and went back to my room and took a bag. "When you meet Brandon, give him back the underwear you dropped in the master bedroom." Evelyn was a little surprised to hear this and began to help Brandon explain. "Really, he is always so forgetful. I will remind him to be more careful next time. As your secretary, he should really be more careful to leave these things in the master bedroom at home." I couldn't help but tease a little. "Alexander, you need to be careful how you speak. I don't want to hear you talk about Brandon like that." Evelyn immediately became a little agitated when she heard me talk about Brandon and defended him. I didn't want to say anything more, so I just looked at her coldly. Seeing that she had overreacted, Evelyn suggested that she could accompany me to work that day. When Evelyn thought I would definitely appreciate her help, I shook my head and refused. We had been together for 5 years, and I had always accompanied her in her business ventures and experienced a lot of difficulties together. During the days when I was struggling to sell products and even had stomach bleeding, I never got Evelyn's special pickup service. Now I finally have it, but it is the compensation that another man has made for me. It's really laughable, and such compensation means nothing to me, Alexander. I turned around and left the house. When I arrived at the office, I started busy organizing my files in preparation for my resignation. Strangely, most of the colleagues around me looked at me with sympathy. Alexander, you're finally here. Assistant Emily looked at me, as if she wanted to say something but stopped. I looked at the anxious young girl in front of me and knew in my heart that she was the only one who truly worried about me. I had only recently revealed my true smile. What's wrong? What's so important that you're in such a hurry? Alexander, you should see for yourself. Emily pulled out a video. It happened to capture the scene in front of the company. Brandon got out of Evelyn's sports car and offered to take her bag. The two of them smiled at each other like true lovers. Brandon's careful movements and tender gaze made my heart ache all over again. The white moonlight is the white moonlight, and in front of her, I, as the person who accompanied her in starting a business, seemed insignificant. At the beginning, Evelyn thought of many reasons to recruit a sports student as her secretary, and I guess she had already made up her mind. I was foolish at the time, thinking that Evelyn would never betray me. Looking at the broken mug in front of me, I couldn't help but feel a tightening in my heart. The cup shattered, and the coffee inside spilled out, bitter, just like my mood. I was in a terrible mood, and I couldn't help but clench my teeth and step on the cup with my foot. It's okay, I understand all of this. I've decided to resign, and I won't care about these things anymore in the future. After giving Emily a new phone number, I walked into the president's office and slammed my resignation in Evelyn's face. Evelyn, I've decided to resign. Please settle my salary and my shares. I want to cash them in. Evelyn looked up with a furrowed brow and asked, "What's wrong with you? Is it because I didn't go with you to the hospital yesterday? We're both adults. Isn't it actually not that important whether we go with you or not? Don't be so sentimental. You're so big now. By the way, how is work going in France?" I looked at the person in front of me, who had no patience for my resignation, and repeated, "I want to resign. Please convert all my shares and arrange it as soon as possible." After listening to my firm and ruthless words, she stared at me intently and asked coldly, "Do you know what you're saying? I was going to marry you, and now you're saying you want to separate. Didn't you always want to marry me?" I didn't say anything, just quietly looked at her. In the past, I would have been happy to spend the rest of my life with the woman in front of me. If it had been the past, I would have been very happy to hear those words. But now, it was impossible to make me stay with her on the grounds of marriage. Whether she agreed or not, I could still rely on the Anderson family to get everything back for me. I could not stay in this company for even one more day. Evelyn became increasingly nervous at my silence. "Alexander, I know that I have been nicer to Brandon recently. After all, he is my classmate and my secretary. In this city, where one is so lonely, it is only natural to care about him. I admit that I haven't been paying much attention to you lately, and I will make it up to you. Have you liked anything lately? Evelyn, the new clothes you bought are really beautiful." Her words were interrupted by Brandon's praise. Brandon appeared in the break area of the office, wearing a special model from Dee's family, and looked at Evelyn with full of love. He said to Alexander, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here. I just want to thank Evelyn for buying me this dress. Do you mind?" Brandon spoke while casually turning his wrist, drawing my attention to the watch on his hand. The watch looked familiar to me because Evelyn had been wearing the same model recently. I remember being quite surprised when I first saw Evelyn wearing the watch, because she never wore any accessories on her wrist. I was curious and asked her why she was wearing a watch. Evelyn said she was just wearing it to tell the time during meetings. Now that I think about it, it was probably to make Brandon happy. But what does that have to do with me? I don't want to care about the two of them wearing diamond rings in the future. What's the big deal? After I quit and leave, you can change clothes as much as you want in the office, or even not wear any. Just keep doing what you want to do. I looked at Brandon with a sneer and spoke in a sarcastic tone. "That's enough, Alexander. I've spoken to you very politely, but how can you treat Brandon like that? Now go and apologize to Brandon. If you don't apologize, then please leave my office. Since Evelyn didn't want to see me, just give me the money and I'll leave immediately." Evelyn looked embarrassed when she heard me say this. I know, she doesn't want to spend so much money, and she definitely didn't want to lose such a capable and loyal subordinate. But what did that have to do with me? Although I come from a wealthy family, money is not a problem for me. But what belongs to me must stay with me. As for the couple in front of me, I wanted to see how long they could stay happy. "Evelyn, I'll be waiting for your call. Don't contact me about company matters again." Without hesitation, I turned around and walked away. Instead of waiting for Evelyn's call, I received a call from her mother. "Alexander, my birthday is the day after tomorrow. You must come and celebrate with me." Evelyn's mother's voice came over the phone, sounding as gentle as she could manage. I was surprised that she had taken the trouble to call me. After all, Evelyn's mother had never liked me very much, and everyone in Evelyn's family knew it. Evelyn's mother had said many nasty things about me in front of her relatives. I thought that if someone like that took the trouble to call me and invite me to her birthday party, it might be a sinister gathering. I laughed coldly and said, "Yes, I'll go." Is there anything else? I don't really care anyway, so I might as well tease her in person. By the way, did you bring the jade bracelet you said you wanted to buy me? Evelyn's mother's tone was full of obvious greed. She doesn't like me, but she wants me to buy her jade. Do you Evelyn family get all the good things? I hung up the phone directly. I didn't expect to receive a text from Evelyn soon after. She said that I didn't need to go to my mother's birthday party and that I should remember to prepare a homemade cake in advance. Since I started going out with Evelyn, I have made her birthday cakes for her and her family every year. As the Anderson family heir apparent, I have suffered many burns for them just to see their smiles. But what have I got in return? No one really values my efforts, and they even dare to ask me to make a cake. So I called the nanny directly and asked her to prepare a cake, not too fancy, the more unpleasant the better, and write these words on the cake for me. After I had arranged everything, I closed my eyes and rested, ready for the banquet the day after tomorrow. At the banquet, Evelyn's mother was receiving praise from everyone in the crowd. As expected, Brandon was by Evelyn's mother's side. He was very understanding and accompanied her, just like a prospective son-in-law. I walked to the door wearing the latest D family clothes and a new watch, followed by the butler carrying the cake. Evelyn saw my surprised expression and hurried over, angry and saying, "Alexander, why are you here? Didn't I tell you? Don't come, it will upset my mother if she sees you. Just have the cake delivered." Evelyn probably didn't expect me to show up at the venue. After all, her best friend Brandon already had a place by Evelyn's mother's side. I needed to deliver Evelyn's request in person. After all, Evelyn, you haven't approved my resignation yet, and you still owe me money. I ignored Evelyn's reaction and walked straight up to Evelyn's mother and Brandon, saying, "Auntie, happy birthday. This is my birthday present for you." I smiled happily. "Alexander, why are you dressed so formally? This watch isn't cheap, is it? I've told you many times not to spend Evelyn's money. She doesn't earn it easily. Look at Brandon, simple and elegant. He never cares about jewelry." Evelyn's mother said this while touching the emerald ring I bought her. Her eyes were full of disappointment and desire. Next to her, Brandon's eyes revealed jealousy and unwillingness, as if he wanted to tear me to pieces. "But what does it matter? I can spend my money however I like," I said calmly. The onlookers around us started to discuss our confrontation. "Alex is Evelyn's boyfriend, right? Why does it feel like Evelyn's mother doesn't like him very much?" I thought the person next to Evelyn's mother was her boyfriend. The two looked very close. "I heard that Evelyn seems to have liked someone else for a long time. I should hear news soon." "In that case, isn't Alexander asking for trouble by coming here?" I couldn't help laughing as I listened to everyone's discussions. "Butler, help me open the gift I gave Evelyn's mother." The butler immediately opened the birthday cake, which read time to pay the debt. Everyone's discussions grew louder and louder. Evelyn grabbed my hand and asked what I was doing and why I was deliberately ruining my mother's birthday party. I smiled at her and said, "Evelyn, is your handwriting unclear? Or do you have some eye problems now and need to go to the hospital for a checkup?" "Alexander, today is Evelyn's mother's birthday party. What you did really embarrassed everyone, and you shouldn't have done it." Brandon took the opportunity to start accusing her. While saying so, he gently patted Evelyn's mother's back, acting like a good son-in-law. "You are very filial, so be a good son-in-law to Evelyn's family. Everyone here today can testify that Evelyn was the one who committed infidelity first, and I have officially resigned and will sell my shares so that I have nothing to do with this company anymore." After I finished speaking, many people were stunned. I turned around and walked towards the door and got into the Rolls-Royce that had been waiting for me. Evelyn rushed over as if she had lost control, slapping the car window to stop me from leaving. I lowered the window and stared coldly at Evelyn. "Alexander, you're dressed so nicely today, and you've even come in a Rolls-Royce. Is there a special reason for this? Do you feel a bit uncomfortable because I'm so nice to Brandon? Why do you need to rely on other people for these things and do things that make you uncomfortable?" I looked helplessly at the self-righteous Evelyn in front of me. "Do you really need to humiliate me in this way? It's best if we don't see each other again. You make me feel uncomfortable." After saying this, I told the driver to drive away. I felt a sense of satisfaction at seeing Evelyn's shocked expression, so I turned my head to admire the scenery along the roadside. On the way home, I kept receiving messages from Evelyn. "Alexander, how can you drive a Rolls-Royce with your family's financial situation? Have you betrayed me already? Where did you get the money? Why didn't you reply? Aren't you a little uneasy?" I asked, reading her WeChat messages one by one. Evelyn, who once thought she was so special, coldly blocked me on WeChat. In fact, she was just a mean person who loved to second-guess other people's thoughts. After returning home, I began to follow Alexander's father around, learning little by little how to manage the family business. I had some previous entrepreneurial experience, so it wasn't difficult to get started. I forced myself to stay busy and not pay attention to what was going on with Evelyn and Brandon. It wasn't until the lawyer told me that I had recovered my shares and my money that I felt like I had been living a dream for all those years. Just when I thought Evelyn had agreed to break up with me and not see me again, I met her in front of the company 2 weeks later. I had just finished work that day when I saw a woman walking towards me. The smile on my face immediately disappeared when I saw it was Evelyn. I didn't understand what she was doing waiting for me in front of the company. Did she regret giving me the money? Or had she come to give me the wedding invitation for her and Brandon? I didn't want to see her at all, and was about to leave when Evelyn grabbed my hand. She asked me softly, "Alexander, why have you blocked me?" I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Evelyn, we've broken up, so stop pestering me." On hearing the word broken up, Evelyn looked as if she had heard something funny and shouted angrily, "Broken up? When did we break up? I never agreed to it." Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. Everyone around us heard what I said at your mother's birthday party. Didn't you hear it? What, Evelyn, do you need to agree to a breakup? If you really couldn't hear it, I'll say it again. Evelyn, we've broken up. I decided to separate from you. No matter how many times I say it, the answer never changes. She gritted her teeth, her face flushed, and looked at me firmly. No matter what you say, Alexander, I won't agree. I haven't done anything wrong. What's the reason for the breakup? I'm willing to forgive you for hiding the fact that you're the heir to the Anderson Group. Hearing these words, I looked at Evelyn helplessly. There's really such a shameless person in this world. Evelyn, who am I to ask you to forgive me? Do you still dare to say that about Brandon? We have already sorted out the shares and the money, so please don't keep pestering me about it. I impatiently tried to push Evelyn's hand away. What exactly had been sorted out? I agreed to your withdrawal so that you could take better care of the family and feel more at ease at home. Alex, we have been together for 5 years. How could I not know how much you love me? I understand that you are causing a scene so that you can marry me. You are the heir to the Anderson Group, and I am a newcomer in the workplace. We will be very happy together. I frowned, really not understanding what Evelyn was thinking. Just as I was about to call security, Alexander, what are you doing here? A soft figure appeared in front of me, blocking Evelyn's control over me. I turned around and saw that it was Isabella, the daughter of the Thompson Group and my childhood friend. She winked at me, and I couldn't help but smile. Sorry, Evelyn, as you can see, I have things to do, so let's call it a day. With that, he walked away with Isabella, leaving Evelyn glaring at us angrily. Unexpectedly, the next day I received a phone call from Brandon. He said, Alexander, I beg you, can you see me? I really want to see you. When I heard Brandon's voice on the phone and thought about the information the detective had found out, I thought about it for a while and then I agreed. After sitting down in the private club, I stared at Brandon across the table. In just 2 weeks, he seemed to have lost a lot of weight. Do you have anything you want to tell me? I asked indifferently. Looking at Brandon, I expected to see a lot of anger and resentment, but in fact, when it came to this point, I was very calm. Brandon looked at me with red eyes and suddenly knelt down. Alexander, please get back together with Evelyn. There really is nothing wrong between us, and Evelyn has always loved you dearly. I could feel the momentary sense of loss and unwillingness in Brandon's eyes. Seeing Brandon kneeling, I didn't let him stand up. I wanted to see what kind of play he was trying to pull. Are you really innocent? You really want to say that you are innocent and left your underwear in our master bedroom? It was all a misunderstanding. We were just playing around like siblings. Evelyn only thinks of me as her little brother. Please make up with Evelyn. Alexander, what Brandon said is all true. You have to believe that Evelyn truly loves you. Evelyn's mother happened to push the door open and looked at me with a face full of fake concern. Alexander, you may have misunderstood them, she said while taking out a photo. Evelyn really hasn't betrayed you. She does have a younger brother who died tragically. When I first met Brandon, I felt that he was very similar to my son. Every time Brandon acts cute with me, I feel like my child is still here. I believe that Evelyn feels the same way, which is why she is so fond of Brandon. Listening to the two of them take turns telling their so-called brother-sister love story, I really didn't want to continue watching, so I just looked down at my phone expressionlessly. It wasn't until the two of them had talked themselves hoarse that I slowly picked up the coffee in front of me and took a sip. To be honest, if you two hadn't put on this show, I might still have some affection for you. Siblings, you actually said such things. Siblings playing together in the master bedroom. Without giving a second thought to the awkward atmosphere between the two people across the room, I picked up my phone and played a video. In the video, Brandon looked at Evelyn's mother with anxiety and sadness and said, Mom, what should we do? Evelyn is now determined to be with Alexander. Although I like you better, Alexander is the heir to the Anderson family. Do you think your background can compare? Evelyn's mother said coldly, so what should I do? Don't forget, if Evelyn finds out about what happened between us, what will she think of you? Will she continue to support you? Brandon became even more anxious as he hurried to think of a way to increase his persuasiveness. Don't worry, as long as you can help Evelyn regain Alexander's trust, I promise to give you the part 1 promised you when Evelyn takes over the Anderson Group. Evelyn's mother stroked Brandon's face while planning. At the end of the video, Evelyn's mother was smiling very happily. I raised an eyebrow and looked at them, asking, "Are you thinking about my Anderson Group inheritance? You did this, and you even made up a sad story about a sister and brother. I feel sorry for Evelyn having a mother like you." As I spoke, I opened the door and suddenly saw Evelyn standing there. I'm not sure how much she heard. Her eyes were a little red, staring at me, and suddenly she took my hand. "Alexander, I didn't know anything about what they did. I don't dare ask for your forgiveness, but I really love you. Didn't you say you really like me? You said that if we held hands for one more day, you would love me one more day. You see, we can still hold hands." Seeing Evelyn's panic, I slowly let go of her fingers one by one in front of her. "Evelyn, in the future, just listen to these kinds of things." Hearing me say this, Evelyn helplessly let her hands drop. She could only force a smile and try to maintain her composure. "Alexander, don't worry, you're not as important as you think." After saying that, I turned around and left, watching her back disappear, while the sounds of the quarrel behind me echoed in my ears. After a deep sigh, I walked away decisively. Life just went on slowly. The disappointment and sadness that I once found hard to forget slowly subsided with the passage of time and the care of family and friends. However, recently I always feel like someone is watching me from behind, which makes me feel a little uneasy. After Isabella found out, she deliberately became my full-time driver, accompanying me to and from work, which gave me a lot of peace of mind. I didn't reject Isabella's kindness. After all, no one wants to be bound by a relationship for too long. Unexpectedly, on an ordinary weekend, I unexpectedly saw Evelyn again in front of my home. She was in a low mood, and there was an emotion in her eyes that I couldn't read. "Evelyn, how did you find me here?" I was surprised. "Alexander, don't you know yet? I have been silently protecting you for 2 months. I always feel that someone has bad intentions towards you, so I must guard you well." Evelyn across the street made me feel very strange, and just as I was about to call security, another unexpected person appeared. Brandon was also at the door, holding 2 ice creams in his hand, looking a little strange. I looked at the pair, who just wouldn't leave, and they looked a little annoying, so I secretly dialed Isabella's phone. "Alexander, Evelyn has been spending a long time protecting you. She can't even look after the company. It's really enviable to have such a relationship," Brandon said, while looking at Evelyn softly, his eyes betraying some helplessness. "Sister, you should be more broad-minded. Let's forget about the past, and I'll buy you an ice cream cone," Brandon said, while holding a cone and trying to get closer to Evelyn, and suddenly turned and rushed towards me. I felt very strange when I saw this, and while backing towards the door, I shouted, "Brandon, don't come any closer. You are very capable, and you will definitely have a good future, so don't dwell on it anymore." "Future? Haha, how could I possibly have a future?" Brandon laughed, his eyes beginning to redden, looking a little sad. He said, "Alexander, you have ruined my life. Are you happy now?" Evelyn's mother didn't care about the relationship between me and her anymore, and blamed me for all the bad things she had done. Evelyn also fired me. I lost everything and feel hopeless for the rest of my life. "Evelyn, are you really not going to care about me anymore? Am I still your favorite?" Brandon looked at Evelyn again, his eyes full of pain. However, when the former lover begged, Evelyn didn't even look at him. In particular, when Brandon reached out and almost touched the hem of her dress, Evelyn even frowned and took a big step back. "Alexander, I have made it very clear to Brandon. I will have no more contact with him. The previous contacts that upset you will not happen again from now on." Facing Evelyn's firm attitude, Brandon was full of dissatisfaction. He asked, "Evelyn, are you really not in love with me?" Then, he turned his head and gave me an insidious smile, suddenly pulled a dagger out of the ice cream cone and charged at me. It happened so fast that I didn't have time to react. Just then, I suddenly felt surrounded by a warm embrace. "Alexander, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere?" Isabella fell to the ground, hugging me. To avoid Brandon's knife, I was still in shock, and I turned around to hug Isabella tightly. I couldn't believe that Brandon, who seemed so weak just now, would do such a thing. I was very pale, but I felt warmth in my hands. I looked down and saw that Isabella's arm was injured and bleeding. I asked, "Isabella, are you okay? Don't move. I'll go get the doctor to treat your wound right away." Just as I was about to make the call, I suddenly heard a slap. I turned my head and saw Evelyn slap Brandon. "Brandon, how could you do this? You've hurt the person I love most, and today I'm going to make you pay." Seeing the two of them in front of me, I couldn't help but think of the injured Isabella. I walked directly up to them and slapped each of them. "Brandon, this is for hurting Isabella, so get ready for a letter from my lawyer. Evelyn, this is for pestering me, so if you have a problem, go see a doctor and leave me alone." Both of them looked stunned. Isabella walked over to me and put her uninjured arm around me. She looked at Evelyn coldly and said, "Evelyn, you have already caused a lot of harm to Alexander. Your lover is still considering doing something to Alexander. If this is your idea of love, it really makes people feel worthless. If you hurt Alexander again, then get ready to accept the consequences from the Thompson Group." After Isabella finished speaking, she hugged me and left. This time, Evelyn surprisingly did not defend herself, just lowered her head and didn't say another word. For someone with a little pride like Evelyn, I don't think she will bother me again. 2 years later, one late night, Isabella and I were just about to go to bed when we suddenly received a call from an unfamiliar number. The woman on the other end sounded a little drunk, and she asked me directly if I had caused the accident because I was going to give her a present. In addition to this, there was some very loud background noise coming from the phone. I felt that she must have known the whole truth. There was nothing to hide in this matter anyway. I frankly admitted this to Isabella and even congratulated her with a smile. Maybe my accident was a good thing after all. Evelyn, our connection should not continue. There was only Evelyn's breathing on the other end of the line, and there was a long silence. Then I heard the phone get hung up. I looked at Isabella, who was full of concern, and smiled gently, saying, "It's okay, the past doesn't matter, right? Yes, our future will definitely be happy." Isabella hugged me tightly. After a long time, I learned from a former subordinate that Evelyn began to drink heavily and eventually became a vegetable after a car accident caused by drunk driving. However, Evelyn's mother never wanted to believe that her once brilliant daughter had fallen to such a state. She continued to pursue treatment and stayed by her daughter's side every day, but she herself became a bit unhinged. Brandon disappeared the moment Evelyn had her accident. I put down my phone and let out a relaxed laugh. The story no longer concerns me. I don't know when it started, but it's snowing outside the window, the first snowfall of the year. My daughter has just fallen asleep, her warm breath beside my neck. Should we go out and see the snow? I turn my head and look at Isabella's gentle smile, holding her hand tightly. I know in my heart that my happiness is finally coming.